about making a move to the Franklin, Tennessee area? If so, then stay tuned because in today's video, I am giving you both the good and the bad. I'm gonna give you 3 pros and 3 cons about living in Franklin. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin and I am a local Nashville real estate agent, and I specialize in helping savvy sellers who want to sell right and sell smart, as well as helping out-of-staters looking to relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you are notified anytime I release new video content. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about 3 pros and 3 cons about living in Franklin. So here's the thing, I know when it comes to making a decision about uprooting your life and moving somewhere else, you need to know not just all the fluff and the flowery stuff, but also the things that might not be as great about that area too. So that's why we are tackling 3 great things about Franklin and 3 things that can be a real deterrent for people to help you make a better informed decision. So let's go ahead and jump on it. First, let's talk about a pro. One of the biggest pros about Franklin is going to be its location, because you really do get the best of both worlds. So not only do you get that small town feel, because that is what Franklin is. Franklin is more of a suburban small town feel, especially with its really cute and charming downtown area. Now you get that, but then on the flip side of it, you also are not too far away from Nashville, so you can experience what big city life has to offer, so to speak, in terms of the new restaurants, the entertainment, the sports events, things like that. And so when I say that you're not too far, you really are going to be around 30 minutes or so away from Nashville, so it does make for a really easy commute up and down Interstate 65 getting to and from. And if you aren't aware of where Franklin is going to be located about 22 miles south of the Nashville area. So again, it's a super easy commute for the most part. Will you deal with traffic? Certainly. However, you get the best of both worlds because you can enjoy more of that suburban life, but then you're also in close proximity and it's easy to get into the city and enjoy some of those big city things that you may like to do. So you get the best of both worlds there. Now, on the flip side of that pro is going to be the con, and part of the con of Franklin is going to be the traffic that you're going to deal with. So I mentioned Interstate 65 getting up and down. So if you have to make that commute in and out of Nashville for work, especially if you're doing it anywhere between the hours of say 7 a.m. to about 9:30 a.m. and then if you're looking around 2:33 to about 6:30 or so, you're definitely going to be dealing with rush hour traffic, which can make that commute worse. However, in my own personal opinion, I don't think Interstate 65 is as bad as like say Interstate 24 or going 65 north, like to the north of Nashville and up. Those to me, 24 and 65 north, to me, those feel more congested than 65 going south to Franklin. But I guess it can be kind of relative depending on the day and if there's been an accident. But yes, you can certainly deal with traffic. Also, so this is going to be a pro and a con in and of itself. So I mentioned traffic, but not only traffic going to and from Nashville, but there is an area with a lot of shopping, basically almost anything you could possibly want, called the Cool Springs area. That's going to be in Franklin. So around Cool Springs though, you can deal with a ton of local traffic, because when I say there's almost anything you want in the Cool Springs area, I mean it. Anything from like fast food to its own restaurants, to a Home Depot, a Lowe's, electronic stores, jewelry stores, pharmacies, grocery stores. There is so much. You even have the Cool Springs Mall. So there's a lot of reasons for a lot of people to be around that area. So it definitely does get congested. And so you kind of have to be mindful of that, because it does take extra time to get in and around the Cool Springs area. But while that can certainly be a con, the pro of it is when it comes to shopping and needing those certain items, it's never really going to be that far away from wherever you live. So it's great, but it also comes with the traffic side of things. Another pro about Franklin is it feels like there's almost something to do every weekend in Franklin. Whether it's going to enjoy outdoor activities, you do have hiking trails, walking trails. You have the ability in the summer months to go enjoy the Harpeth River where you can canoe or kayak down it. You can even just go find one of the little beaches right there around the river and park it there for the day to just play in the river. Now, here is a tiny con, and this isn't included in my list, but within the river, you can certainly deal with snakes. So to me personally, that's a con. But there's a lot of outdoor opportunities for you. However, there also are a lot of festivals that take place throughout the year too. So if you are somebody who is really sociable and loves to get out and meet people and do things, Franklin provides that opportunity. You know, especially in the fall, you have something called Pilgrim Festival. You also are going to have Pumpkin Fest that's in downtown Franklin, as well as a Dickens of a Christmas, which takes place at Christmas time. So there's a lot happening. And then there's even smaller community events that happen as well. So if you, again, are somebody that wants to be able to plug into a community where there's a lot going on, Franklin certainly provides that. Now, a con of Franklin, because so many people are wanting to move, and again, this is going to be a pro and a con. So it's two sides of a coin, right? So because people are wanting to move to Franklin, a con of that, especially if you're on the buying side, is that it is going to come at a premium cost. And I'm talking home prices. The average home price for a single family home jumped over 36% from March of last year to March of 2022, which is dramatic. But we have seen this massive influx of people coming in, which has driven up home prices, especially in the Franklin area. So if you are on the buying side, to me, that would be a con, because yes, you are going to pay a premium to get into it. And so that can initially feel like a squeeze on the purse strings, right? That is a con, because it will come with just a higher house price premium. Also, the cost of living in Williamson County overall is one of the most expensive counties in the state of Tennessee when it comes to cost of living. But there are benefits that outweigh that. And going back to housing, so even though you will pay a premium if you're looking to buy in the Franklin area, here is something that will hopefully give you a little bit of comfort. So if you have not seen any of my other videos, this is a stat that I have been using several times, but the Tennessean put out an article back in, I believe it was either January or February of this year, of 2022. And it said that they are predicting another 200,000 people are going to be moving to the Middle Tennessee area over the next 5 years. And that breaks down to 109 people a day. Then the University of Tennessee actually came out with a study saying that they predict another 1 million people will move to the state of Tennessee by 2040, and that 57% of that is going to land in the Middle Tennessee area. So that means we got a lot of people coming here, but even though you're gonna pay a premium to get in, the beautiful thing about it is that you're going to get to ride up the appreciation and build equity in your home. I mean, I have had clients who in just 1 year who have bought in Franklin in 1 year, their home value has appreciated $200,000. Like, that is bananas. Now, am I saying that that's going to happen year over year over year until 2040? No, that's not sustainable by any means. However, because the reason why people are moving here is not, it doesn't appear to be going away anytime soon, then we are still going to see a strong demand. So we will still see home prices go up. So even though getting in initially may feel kind of a little bit like a gut punch perhaps, you got to take a look at it from the long run. And that's going to be a pro, is just the amount of equity that you will be able to build up in the home that you're living in. So that is something to keep in mind as you're trying to navigate these waters of potentially buying in the Franklin area. Now, I know that I mentioned home prices and how they've gone up. And so you may be wondering, what is the average home sale price in Franklin? As of March of 2022, it was hovering right around that 1 million mark. Does that mean that you can't get in below that? No, you absolutely can. There are certainly opportunities to get in below that. However, that is just the average that we saw for the home sales in Franklin in March of 2022. So that is something to keep in mind. So while it is a negative that home prices are going up and there is a higher cost of living in Williamson County in general, the sales tax is 9.3% in Williamson County. Overall, it will turn into a pro though when you see the amount of equity that you can get out of your home a few years down the road. And then as we get to wrapping this up, I'll actually start with the last true con first before I finish on the pro. I always feel like it's better to end on a positive note. So that last con is going to be, and maybe you've encountered this or maybe you're unaware, but when it comes to schools, now Williamson County, if you go and do the research on greatschools.org, you will see that Williamson County for their public schools traditionally has higher rated school scores. That's not a con. The con is that if you were looking at private schools or even after school activities, things for children, and this isn't just Franklin, this is Middle Tennessee in general for the most part, school stuff is extremely competitive. Trying to get into private school is extremely competitive. Trying to get into summer camps and after school activities and things like that, you have to be on top of it in order to get your child signed up, because that stuff is very competitive, very much in demand, and it goes quickly. And I hear this so much from people who are moving here. They had no idea how competitive it was. So that is something that we're dealing with. So I know that as you're trying to navigate a move and getting kids registered or figuring out schools and thinking about how life is going to look like, I know that can probably feel overwhelming, but I feel like it's better to tell you up front so you're prepared for it rather than being surprised for it, so that if there is something that your child is wanting to be a part of, you are aware that it's competitive and you can be ready to go when it is time to sign up or time to apply. And just another side note about the private schools, typically at the end of February, beginning of March of each year is when families are finding out whether their kids have or have not been accepted. And so even if you aren't accepted the first go around, try again. And you never know if spots may open up. I have had people who get in right away. I have had others where their child was not accepted into the school of their choice right away, but then lo and behold, a spot became available. But just know, whether you're applying to private school or whether you're looking at summer camps or after school activities or things like that, just know you gotta be on top of it, because otherwise spots are gonna fill up and it's gonna be gone. And then I promised I would end on a high note, and this is something that I personally experience. People ask me if this is still true, even with the massive amount of people that we have seen moving here, and it is. But one of my favorite things about the Franklin area is just the kindness and generosity of its people. And again, I know that people have said, well, have all of these people who are moving here, have they messed up the culture? No, people are still really friendly. Even if you're from California, neighbors for the most part are still gonna be really kind. Lots of generosity, very friendly. I mean, I was just even speaking with a client earlier today who was talking about, he was so nervous to tell people that he was from California, but he's been welcomed with open arms and people have been willing to help them with whatever they need in moving in. And so I love that, because here's the thing, it's not only with just people moving here. And you may or may not know this, but Tennessee is called the volunteer state, and it's called that because in the War of 1812, a lot of Tennessee men volunteered to go fight in the war. And so I really feel like that volunteer spirit is still alive and well in the state today, especially in the Middle Tennessee and Franklin areas. So because of that, it's almost like the state has a volunteer spirit to it. Because if you actually look, like back in March of 2020, when the Nashville tornado hit, so many people were willing to jump in and lend a helping hand that people and volunteers were actually being turned away because there were so many of them. It was actually impeding the cleanup efforts rather than helping. And so that's something, anytime that Nashville gets hit with any sort of tragedy, the community here really rallies around each other and is really supportive. And so not only will you see that in your neighborhoods, but you see that in Nashville at large, is that it really seems like the volunteer spirit of Tennessee is still alive and well today in the Middle Tennessee community. So even if you are from California, people are not going to hate you. It's just people, for the most part. Now you can run into some bad apples here and there, but people for the most part are still really friendly and generous, and they are looking forward to welcoming you here. So, okay, so I hope that was helpful, giving you some pros and some cons about living in Franklin. I know that no place is gonna be perfect, so you have to pick and choose your battles as to what are your deal breakers, what are the things that you are willing to compromise on, and what are your must-haves when moving to a new area. So if you are thinking about moving to the Franklin, Tennessee area, myself and my team, we specialize and love helping out-of-staters relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. So you can always, please feel free to contact us. Also, please feel free to click down below and grab my free Nashville relocation guide. And like I said, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. My name is 𝐋𝐈𝐊 Martin. I'll see you next time.